good morning, folks. Good afternoon or good evening. It's lovely to see you again as usual. So a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. It's lovely to have you. Well, as you can see there, yeah, I've made the puff candy. First time I've ever tried doing this, and I'll definitely be doing it again. I could not believe how easy it actually was. You know, it was one of the things when I was doing my research, I thought, yeah, that looks super simple, but I bet it's a nightmare when you go to make it. But no, it really was simple. The only thing I'll say is make sure that the dish that you're using or the tray that you're using is going to be big enough, because I'm going to show you what happens when you use a dish that's too small. Bit of an outtake, but I will show you that. Just before I move on, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, why not consider subscribing just before you leave? I do have a recipe or two every week, so it would be lovely to see you back. So this is everything that I used here, and as usual, all of these ingredients with their weights will be underneath the video. So it's very, very simple. You've just got some corn syrup or golden syrup if you're using that, some sugar, some bicarbonate of soda, and then some optional chocolate at the end. I just covered mine in a wee bit of chocolate at the end, but like I said, that's completely optional. When I was wee, when I was a wee girl getting this for the shop, from the sweetie shop, there were never any chocolate on it. It was just plain. But nowadays, obviously, you can get the Crunchie bars, which have got chocolate on them. So I think it's really down to personal choice. And then I'm using caster sugar. That's just a very, very fine white sugar, which I find breaks down a lot quicker, but use ordinary granulated sugar, you know, if you can't get caster sugar. And this is the tin that I was going to use, but then quickly realised, now I'm going to need a bigger one. So this was the one that I ended up using here, but I will show you, like I said, the disaster that happened with the smaller tin. So grab yourself a big pan. Now you do need a big pan for this because it's going to foam up. And I've actually used a candy thermometer. You want to get your mixture till about 290 degrees. That's the hard crack stage. But if you don't have a candy thermometer, don't worry, you can eyeball this, and I'll show you when we get there. So pop in your golden syrup or your corn syrup, whatever you're using, followed by your sugar. Now you just want to melt these on a medium heat. You know, you can give it a wee push around with a heat-proof spatula from time to time, you know, just to get it going, but you don't need to stir this. In fact, it's recommended that you don't stir it, but I just gave mine a wee push around from time to time. Now you want to let this boil away for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's lovely and dark and you've got a gorgeous dark brown sort of amber colour, so you really don't need a thermometer. Once you're at that stage, whack in your bicarbonate of soda and give this a thorough mix, and you will see it all start to foam up and bubble up. Then quickly go over to whatever dish you're using. Just make sure it's well lined and greased so that your mixture doesn't stick. So pop that into your dish, and that is it. And it will sort of expand and rise up slightly as it cools, and it will set kind of flat, so don't panic if it's starting to look as though it's getting out of control. It will sink back down. So yeah, this is what happens when you use a tin that's too small. As you can see, you can actually see it expanding properly there, and that's just because the tin is far too small. So this was my first take, and I thought it was quite funny, so I'm going to show them what actually happens. But you can see there, it just gets out of control. So do make sure you use a big enough dish, and do make sure that your greaseproof paper is greased on the top, and it will just peel off really easily like this if it's well greased, and it's lovely and light and just as you would expect. Now you can break this up with whatever you like. I had a meat tenderizer, so that's what I was using, but you can use your hands or the back of a soup ladle, anything you want, just as long as you get it into nice wee shards. Break this up into any size pieces you want, and Mr. What's for Tea kept pinching mine because he does like this stuff. And yeah, there he's going again. He's going in for another chunk there. Now you can leave this plain, like I said, it's completely up to you. But I did have some chocolate there, so I just put some chocolate over the top. It's actually a wee pen that's got milk chocolate inside. You get these from any supermarket. You just let them, they're actually solid. Pop them into some boiling water, and the tube, as it warms up, becomes, you know, the chocolate becomes liquid, and they're really handy for this kind of thing. Now just obviously let that set if you can. you know, whilst you let the chocolate set completely before you start to eat it. And that's it. Now you can store this in an airtight container for quite a wee while, if it lasts that long, that is. Just before I leave you, I wanted to say, as usual, a massive thank you to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page and to the channel members here on YouTube as well. So thank you ever so much, guys, for your continued support. And thank you all for watching and leaving your lovely comments and sharing the videos and all that wonderful stuff that you do. And do let me know if you're planning on giving that puff candy a go. I know that it's got so many different names. You know, I've heard it called Hokey-Pokey, Cinder Toffee, Sponge Toffee. Yeah, it's got loads of different names. But when I was wee growing up, we knew it as puff candy. So yeah, do let me know if you're going to give it a go. And if you're not following me over on Instagram yet, I'm whatsfortea3 over there, and I'll leave that linked underneath the video as well. So hopefully I'll catch up with you during the week. And until I see you again, have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care, lots of love, and bye for now. Bye now.